I realized I hadn't formally done a rant on this particular subject, so I figured I'd do it before. What the fuck is up with my hair? Before, before episode 5 comes out. John Walker sympathizers. What the fuck? Be very fucking careful, because a lot of y'all are starting to sound like hashtag he just had a bad day. To be honest, it's really comical because this show was written quite a bit ago, but it's still kind of mirroring some shit that's happened recently, like the whole Atlanta thing where that crazy white man killed a bunch of Asian women, and the police literally just said, oh my god, poor thing, he had a bad day. He had a bad day. What? Someone explain to me this pathological obsession with infantilizing psychotic white men. Psychotic American white men. John Walker's not a villain. He's not a bad guy. He's just a product of the system that produced him. John Walker isn't a villain. The real villain is the American government. Yeah, duh. First of all, the American government is basically the antagonist in almost every Marvel movie. John Walker isn't a bad guy. He's not a villain. He's just a product of what the American government did to him. Like, yeah, Loki isn't a villain. Loki wasn't a villain. He's just a product of what Odin did to him for being a shit fucking father, for abducting him from his home planet and robbing him of his throne. So yeah, Loki wasn't a villain. Thanos wasn't a villain. It was the council on the planet, his home planet of Titan, that didn't listen to him about resource management, and then his entire planet went to shit. It's their fault for his actions. Killmonger isn't evil. He had a fucking really good point about black people and how they're treated around the globe. He had a fucking point, so he's not a bad guy either. He's just a product of white supremacy. But no, Killmonger's not a villain. Like, do you guys see the fucking slippery slope? Where does it end? At what point do you hold somebody accountable for their actions? See, also, everyone's like, it's just writing, first of all, don't get attached to the character. But also, writing, fiction, nonfiction, either way, relatability and a backstory is what makes a good villain. The thing about a villain is that we could all become a villain based on the choices that we make, because we all go through trauma. One of the things that make evil people able to gain a following of others, a large following, Hitler, is being able to motivate, is having a relatable backstory, is being able to create empathy for a cause. That's what makes an effective villain. That's what makes a good villain. It's easy to have, just a mad scientist, evil genius, black and white evil person. But no, real villains have tragic backstories. And the difference is how they go on with their lives after that. John Walker is absolutely a villain. Listen to all of the veterans, like I said, telling you guys that we have served with a John Walker. Okay, people saying John Walker is no different than Steve. Steve killed people, first of all. Yeah, he's a fucking avenger. Once in a while, you're going to have to kill some people. But the thing is, when you're an avenger, when you're a soldier, fighting to defend people, supposedly, killing is a last fucking resort. Killing is a last resort. Capture, debilitate maybe. Killing is a last fucking resort, not the first. Okay? Even in the fucked up United States military, United States government, there are rules about who you can kill and when. Okay? And I may be wrong, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but what John Walker did kind of seems like a fucking war crime. First of all, he didn't even go after the flag smasher that killed Lamar. He just picked whatever flag smasher that was fucking nearest to him and bashed him in because of his anger. The only thing motivating John Walker, it's not to protect and defend. It's not to help other people. It's to prove himself. It's to feel good about himself. This motherfucker was waiting for a reason to pop off. And Lamar's death automatically became that reason. He is not a good person. At what fucking point? At what fucking point does it become okay to hold someone accountable for their fucking actions? He's a veteran with untreated PTSD. Yeah, so is my fucking abuser. The biggest abuser of my life, my biggest villain in my life, the reason I have PTSD, that bitch that cunt has fucking PTSD. Cool. She has PTSD. Is she not a villain? She has PTSD. And then she abused me. And now I have PTSD. So if I go out and I damage somebody else, does that mean I'm not a villain? Don't think so. And that's why I'm going to therapy right now, because I really don't want to fucking become a John Walker. I don't want someone else to get hurt because of my hurt, because I'm damaged, because of the abuse that I suffered. I don't want to accidentally become the villain in someone else's story. I don't. Not for that, no. Absolutely not. Yes, John Walker is one significant of it, basically represents one of many soldiers, one of many armed forces members who have been manipulated by the United States government. But at a certain point, when do we get to consider them a fucking adult and hold them accountable for their actions? When? When? And that whole killing this flag smasher thing, it was completely unnecessary. It was completely unnecessary. The guy was basically surrendering. Could have captured him, honestly. And if we're looking at it objectively, not even considering the human element of it, the guy could have been really valuable intel, but John just shot that to hell because he decided to kill him because he was having a bad day, because he was mad. Yeah, the thing about good villains is that, yeah, there's a potential for all of us to make the wrong decision when trauma hits us and become a villain. And those defining moments define who the fuck we are. And John Walker is a fucking villain. I've told you before, these fucking trigger-happy, crazy people who have been denied mental health care in a roundabout way walk around just fucking juiced up, aggressed up, ready to kill something. And they just look for a reason. They're just waiting for a reason. And then when it comes, they pop off. Is that a product of conditioning? Yes. But again, at what fucking point do you hold an adult man accountable for his fucking actions? Sam is the whole reason that Rhodey is paralyzed from the waist down. Tony didn't instantly fucking kill Sam. He bopped him a bit, but he didn't fucking kill him. The whole thing with Civil War is that T'Challa was bloodthirsty because Zemo killed his fucking dad. And he was consumed by it. T'Challa could have become a villain. But at the end, he realized that no, it's not worth it. It's not worth damaging your character. Two wrongs don't make a right. And it's not going to bring his dad back. He made the right choice. When Bucky died in the first, Captain America movie, Steve could have gone buck wild. He could have, was it Zola? He could have killed that motherfucker. He could have killed all them niggas on the train, but he didn't. He didn't. Yes, the camera cut away, but it can be very inferred that he held his cool, finished the fucking mission, and went back to grieve Bucky afterwards. And was he pissed off? Yes, of course. Of course, that rage is justifiable. But just because your emotions are justified doesn't mean that it gives you carte blanche to just go out and do dumb shit and then just have the excuse of you had a fucking bad day. What is this obsession? And why it... to a fictional man, to a fictional white man. Fiction imitates life. And we know that this happens in real life because we literally just saw it happen in Atlanta. Where that guy shot up all of those salons and the police were the pressure was just building up and he had a bad day. Mental illness is not a disqualifier for being evil. It's not. Mental illness is not a disqualifier for being evil. Mental illness does not completely take away your freedom of fucking choice. There are symptoms of it that are hard to fucking manage, and there are symptoms of it that you cannot control 100%, but you still have the power of choice. And just because you're damaged does not give you the right to go out and damage other people recklessly. With Steve Rogers, killing was always a last option. You guys fucking remember the beginning of the first Captain America movie? Where the scientist was like, do you want to like kill some Nazis? You want to shoot up some Nazis? And Steve was like, I don't want to kill anybody. I don't want to kill anybody. I just don't like bullies, no matter who they are, where they come from. I think it's interesting that people find it very easily to villainize Zemo, villainize, pretty much anyone else. Mostly Zemo in this show. I'm like, even Zemo has a better moral compass than John Walker. Even Carly Morgenthau has a better moral compass than fucking John Walker. Because though she is a villain and an extremist, at least she has the motive of helping people. At least she has the motive of helping people. John Walker's only fucking motivation is for him to feel like he's enough. And I'm sorry, at a certain point, I don't care about your fucking insecurities and trauma that you've been through when it starts damaging other people. When you start recklessly killing people, no matter how noble your cause is, when you just start recklessly killing people for your cause, recklessly, then you are a fucking villain. That's when you become a villain. So yes, Carly is a villain, and John Walker is a villain. Even though we're on two different sides, they're both fucking villains. But at least Carly Morgenthau has the saving grace of having an actual, just like an actual cause that is selfless. The only thing driving John Walker is his fucking ego. I never get really this worked up about fictional characters and people's opinions about fictional characters. I'm like, it's a fictional character. You can feel how you want. But if you sympathize with John Walker and are trying to paint this image that he's this tragic even hero, this tragic whatever, like infantilizing a white man, a grown fucking man that made a choice, I am a little concerned about you. I'm a little concerned about you. I might be concerned about hanging out with you, honest to God. Especially if you're in the armed forces. Because that probably means that you're a John Walker too. Because like I said, a bunch of us vets are getting together and being like, yeah, we fucking know John Walkers. They're not good people. They are probably mentally unstable. They're fucking arrogant. And they're just waiting for a reason to pop off. They're not good people. So yeah. If you're a John Walker sympathizer, I'm probably gonna steer clear of you. Good villains are relatable. Good villains have backstories because we all have the potential to turn into a villain. We all have the potential to be a hero or a villain when trauma happens to us. What makes us a hero or a villain are the choices that we make after the trauma is inflicted on us, no matter what. And at some point, you have to look and see a fucking adult man or woman, and you gotta hold them fucking accountable for their actions. And ask yourself, why is it easier for you to hold people like Zemo, non-American, Loki, Killmonger, Thanos accountable for their actions and not John Walker? What is the obsession? What? God!